Hi, so for my book this week I did Bud Not Buddy by Christopher Paul Curtis. And this book is about a little orphan named Bud, and he lost his mom when he was 6 years old, and the only things that he has left of her are some rocks and some flyers, and all of the flyers are about this guy named Calloway. And so that's all he has left of her, and one day a foster family decides that they can take him in. Well, so he goes and lives with the foster family, but the family's little boy is very mean to Bud and starts telling lies about Bud, and so the foster family gets very mad at Bud. And so they lock him up in a shed, and so Bud breaks out of that shed and then goes on the run. And he goes on the run, or the lam is how he calls it, for the majority of the story. And he remembers why he was wondering why his mom kept those flyers around. And so he kept looking at him, and he was thinking maybe that Calloway was his father. And so he goes on a journey to find Calloway. And he gets help from some friends. One of his friends is Lefty Lewis, who takes Bud to the town that Calloway lives at. And so he goes to where Calloway is, and Calloway is performing or practicing with his band. And he goes in, and the band's very nice to Bud at first, but Calloway isn't. He doesn't accept Bud, and he thinks that Bud is a liar when he tells him that Calloway is his father. And so Calloway is very mean to Bud for the majority of the book. And one day, Calloway started picking up some rocks, and Bud goes, "Why are you picking up rocks?" And Calloway wrote on the rocks, and Bud showed him that he had rocks just like Calloway's. And Calloway asked where he got those. And Bud told him that his mother had them, and Calloway kind of gets shocked because he discovers that Bud is actually his grandson, because his mom is his daughter. And so Calloway at the end of the story is accepting of Bud, but he's very hurt because he didn't know that his daughter was dead. She had just run away from home. And so he's very hurt, but he does start accepting Bud more, and the band accepts him as well. They buy him an instrument so that he can start playing along with them. And so the moral of the story pretty much, or the theme of the story, is pretty much when one door closes, another door opens. And that's what Bud's mom always told him when he was younger. When something bad happens and you're kicked out of somewhere, always be looking for that next door. Like, the door of the orphanage closed, the door to the foster home closed, but the door to meeting Mr. Calloway and starting to live with Mr. Calloway opened. And at first, Bud didn't have anything. He was an orphan. He had to go to the mission to eat. He had nowhere to sleep after he got kicked out of the foster home, or ran away from the foster home. But then at the end of the book, he has a really nice house. He goes to restaurants to eat almost every day. He travels around with a band, and he is now living with his grandfather. And this book is really great for children. It shows them that they can use strength and perseverance to get through anything like Bud did, and to never give up. There were so many people that were mean to Bud on his journey throughout this book. This book also shows some historical text about the Great Depression. It's set in the Great Depression, and so the setting impacts the book a great deal because it shows how many problems there was during the Great Depression, and how many broke families there were, and how hard it was for everyone through that time. And this book was great, and I can't wait for next week. Thank you.